Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Donald Trump has finally made an endorsement in Pennsylvania for the Senate race, and he has endorsed none other than Dr. Oz. This is very controversial. A lot of people on the right have been very critical of Dr. Oz, including myself, and I will continue to be critical of Dr. Oz. But Trump has endorsed him, which has made him the frontrunner in this race. And we're going to analyze this endorsement. Personally, it was likely going to come down to two people, Dr. Oz and David McCormick. And honestly, Oz may be the lesser of two evils between those two, but that's not enough in my opinion. That's not how we should approach politics, and I'm going to explain why. But either way, we're going to get into this. I have to tell you guys about redeaglepatriot.com. If you want to sign up for the website, it is 16 cents a day. You get all these exclusive videos and you get all these exclusive articles as well. And you can join the Discord of over 150 members, and you could talk with like-minded individuals in our great Red Eagle Politics community. But also, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by buying the merchandise from shop.redeaglepolitics.com, which is also on the website. We have the alternative logo t-shirt. We also have the Red Wave merch. Finally, we have it in t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, etc. It's a great design. I mean, the Red Wave is imminent. Why not cop a Red Wave t-shirt from redeaglepolitics.com? You can do so. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. So let's dive into this. Trump endorsed Dr. Oz in the Senate race, which I have very mixed feelings about. The good news is he didn't endorse David McCormick. The bad news is he endorsed Dr. Oz. And this is what it comes down to. And Trump has this approach to endorsing, which is very controversial. I've been very critical of him. Instead of trying to recruit candidates that are solid, that he could prop up from the beginning, that share all of his values, he typically just wants to endorse whoever he feels like can win the election and might align with him the most, or said something nice to him in the past. And that's what Dr. Oz did. He, was Trump's doctor, or the TV doctor back in 2016, who gave him his physical and said that, he could lose a couple pounds, but other than that, I mean, the guy's in great shape. And Trump has lost a couple pounds since the election ended. So, I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. But Dr. Oz has been that guy in Trump's circle, extended circle, for a while, but he's also been a liberal Republican for his entire career. Now, there's all these criticisms that people will throw at Dr. Oz, and, some of them I don't necessarily agree with. People are going to be even my fellow Armenians are I can't support Dr. Oz because he's Turkish or whatever. Personally, if you have an America First candidate that's ethnically Turkish, as an Armenian, I don't really care. I want to put America first, but I don't really know if Dr. Oz is that guy. And he's an economic nationalist, which is good on that front. But at the same time, this isn't just a movement that's built around economic nationalism. Obviously, we like trade protectionism, but we also want to be tough on the border. We want to be tough on immigration. We want to lower immigration, illegal and legal. We want to move a net zero moratorium into the Overton window here. And I'm not entirely sure Dr. Oz does that. And the guy's got a lot of controversial statements in his past surrounding a wide variety of things. He had trans kids on his show in 2010. He was pro-choice a couple years ago, pro-red flag laws a couple years ago, pro-mask in 2021, pro-jab. He's, retweeted things that were relatively pro-BLM. And McCormick has done the same thing. I think McCormick is more dangerous because Oz I see as more of a grifter. I think he's more malleable, which is a good thing. But McCormick, you look at him, he was trashing Trump in 2021. I mean, he was going out there saying when China succeeds, the U.S. succeeds his entire career. On free trade, he's vouched in support of globalism and free trade. An open economy, he supported TPP. He's very pro-globalist. He wants to increase immigration and was one of the few Republicans back in 2013 who pleaded to the Supreme Court that they would legalize gay marriage. So that should tell you everything you need to know about David McCormick. I think he's worse than Oz. I think Oz is more of a grifter. I think he will say whatever's popular to advance his career, whether if it was in Hollywood or whether if it's in Pennsylvania. And I think that's a negative thing. But it is what it is. Dr. Oz is going to be Dr. Oz. I mean, he's that guy. But I want to get into Trump's endorsement passage of him, which honestly made the endorsement worse in my opinion. Because like we say, yeah, Oz and McCormick. Oz is better than McCormick in my view, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, you're talking about like the South Park dichotomy of the giant douche versus the turd sandwich. That's what you have to deal with when you're looking at this endorsement. And I don't want to settle for the lesser of two evils in this case, especially in a primary. It's like, would I support Dr. Oz over John Fetterman? I mean, yeah, technically, but I'm not going to do so enthusiastically. And that should tell you everything you need to know about this Senate race. But beyond that point, it's crazy to see. Let's look at this endorsement draft that Trump drafted up here talking about it. He said, this is about winning elections. He sounds like he's coming from like the Electabro crowd, saying this is all about winning elections. And Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz is the only one who can win because he was successful on TV and was popular, respected, and smart. And he said that I was in good health once, therefore I have to endorse him. Like, that's the ego kicking in. So like I said, it's fun to watch the pro-McCormick loser Electabros meltdown. But at the risk of him endorsing Oz, it's not exactly what it is. So he goes on to say Oz wrote books, so he's good. And then he says he's pro-life, strong on crime, the border election, F-word, our great military, our vets, tax cuts, and will support our Second Amendment. Like, half of that is completely untrue, at least before he ran for Senate. And then he goes on to say Oz believes in health care reform or whatever. And that might be the pro of Dr. Oz. He might be able to bring like a health care plan to the table that Republicans could use to win over some like single issue healthcare voters who usually don't vote Republican but are like culturally conservative in like the Midwest. Yeah, maybe there could be something to that. But in the meantime, he just goes on to say he'll be electable. Like, there's a lot of people that are electable. Trump, it's going to be a red wave. We know this. The polls show it. Like, Dr. Oz being the only one that can win. Like, I agree he might be a tad more electable than McCormick, but somebody else could also be just as electable. John Fetterman is a train wreck. Connor Lamb is going to be a bust if he's nominated, which I don't believe he will be. If you look at the polls, you would have thought they would gain traction from November until now, but if anything, he's like slipped up a little bit in the polls, and Fetterman still has a pretty big lead. So he goes on to say he'll do well in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh where other candidates won't be accepted, which it's like, it is what it is. Like, I just can't get over this like electability thing, and then Trump is buying into it. So like I said, Dr. Oz and McCormick both are awful. I think Oz is slightly better. I wouldn't say slightly. I think he'd potentially be better in action because he's somebody who's more malleable, even if he is a grifter. But I don't want to settle for a grifter. I think we need to have higher standards for our candidates. I do. And it's crazy because Trump endorsed Sean Parnell early on, and rightfully so. Parnell was the best candidate for the race. He was a veteran. He was strong on pretty much all the issues. He would have been a top, one senator compared to the current Senate if he was actually elected. And he dropped out because there were family problems. You didn't see the same thing in Missouri with Greitens. Greitens didn't drop out, but Parnell did. And now Parnell's a shill for McCormick, which this is true. I mean, Parnell would have been far better than Oz. He should have stayed in. He would have won. Even regardless of the controversy, he likely would have won the primary and the general election. But no, he dropped out and endorsed McCormick, the worst candidate in the race, a train wreck, a globalist, a neoliberal Republican who has been aligned with the left on pretty much every social issue. I think the guy's worse than Pat Toomey. And Dr. Oz is just an unproven product because who knows what he's been saying his entire career. Does he actually believe it? Is he saying it because it's like the popular thing to do because of Hollywood? Is he grifting off of them, or is he grifting now off of conservatism? I don't know. I don't trust the guy. He's probably going to win the primary now, but I don't trust the guy. So who would I say would be the best candidate? Well, there's a lot of trash candidates in this race. I'll say that. And a lot of people have been supporting Carla Sands, but there's, stuff in her past that it's a little bit iffy, to say the very least, regarding that. And Kathy Barnett, actually, who started off her political career by being the Kim Klacik of Pennsylvania. She ran in a deep blue district, but she's actually ran a solid campaign on the issue. She wants to limit all immigration. She's running an anti-globalist campaign now that could be good for Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'd support her over the other candidates in the race. I'd probably vote for her in the primary at this point, but it is what it is. It seems as if pretty much everybody in this race is awful. Where was Scott Perry? Is he holding out for 2024? Well, in the last video, I mentioned the fact that he probably is. which is what it is. It's unfortunate, but Bartos, he seems to be an establishment guy. It seems as if like Barnett and Gale might be the better candidates, but neither of them really have that much of a chance in the primary. And you could go down and you could look at the polls here. I mean, Barnett actually has done well. I mean, she's polling in the double digits most of the time, which is good to see. But Trump has an ego to him, and I've said this for a while, and his ego can be of benefit when he's dealing with the media, or whether he's like going to go on the offense. He's never going to back down, never going to apologize. We like that about him, but he doesn't at the same time want to endorse candidates that he feels like even with his endorsement can lose, and that's a problem. So he's going to go out there and endorse Dr. Oz. Maybe he sees him as the lesser of two evils, but he'll endorse him anyways because of electability. And it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. I mean, there's a lot of great candidates that could easily get a Trump endorsement, and even if they would still fall short, I'd rather have Trump fall short with somebody good and have the weak end up winning the primary than have Trump endorse the weak and have them win the primary by a resounding margin. And that's where we are right now. So it is what it is. I mean, Dr. Oz needs to be pushed to the right. Regardless, he'll probably win the primary at this point, so I'd encourage people to hold him accountable. I think he could be an okay senator, but at the same time, his history of social liberalism is a giant red flag, and David McCormick's is like a double red flag. So I honestly, between those two, I would rather have Oz, but like I said, we shouldn't have to settle for the lesser of two evils. It's disgraceful. I mean, the Republican Party has done this for so long, and as a result, we're losing our country. So that's really the way that it is. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you guys think this was the right move for Trump, or do you think that he should have endorsed one of the lesser-known candidates, whether it would be Gale or Barnett or whoever? Just let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And buy the merch. It's in the pinned comment. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.